What is up, guys? So today we are going to talk about cognitive dissonance. What it is, why it's important, and how you can overcome it. Cognitive dissonance is essentially when there's an inconsistency between your thoughts, beliefs, and actions. It tends to occur when there's a gap between what we believe and what we're actually doing. And it can cause a lot of discomfort, both mentally and even physically. For example, we all know we should exercise, but sometimes we don't. We know it can improve your mental health, your physical health, and your overall well-being. But sometimes we just don't do it. And the longer we go without exercising, the worse we feel, because it widens the gap between what we believe and what we're doing. Cognitive dissonance makes us feel guilty and shameful, and even goes on to reduce our self-worth and self-esteem. It can make us feel bad about ourselves, make us feel kind of fake. And the worst part is, this turmoil isn't just in our minds. Studies have shown that cognitive dissonance can cause tremendous stress and physical tension, even in our bodies, leading to a lot of discomfort. So, how can we overcome it? So there are three main ways that we can overcome cognitive dissonance. And some of them are good, and some of them not so good. So the first way is to change our behaviors. Once we change our behaviors to be more in line with what we think and what we believe, it really reduces the amount of cognitive dissonance. Let's go back to the exercise example. So if we were to start small and just exercise a little bit every day, or even a couple times a week, and the dissonance starts to get replaced with just a little bit of pride that starts to build up our self-worth and self-esteem. This is a great way to build back confidence and start trusting ourselves again. The second way is to change our thinking to line up to our behaviors. This again is another way that we can close that gap between what we're doing and what we're thinking. When we have idealistic views and perfectionistic beliefs, we tend to beat ourselves up for the smallest mistakes. The truth is, no one's perfect. We all make mistakes. We're human, and that's okay. One mistake doesn't make us a bad person. For example, if we start beating ourselves up and start to think that we're a bad person for missing a day at the gym, do you really think that's gonna help? The third way is the worst and the most dangerous. It's hard to detect because it's what we default to a lot of the time, and that is justifying and rationalizing our behavior. It deals with the gap between our beliefs and our actions by pretending there is no gap and that it's all okay. Kind of like that dog, sitting in the middle of the fire. In the example of exercise, it's so easy to say, oh, but I just exercised yesterday, I'm tired, I just don't have time today to exercise. And sometimes we get really toxic with it and start rationalizing by saying, at least I'm not as unhealthy as that other person over there. This way of thinking tries to convince us that there is no gap and that there's no problem at all. And at the end of the day, it's just a band-aid. It's a little piece of scotch tape trying to hide that gap and pretending that it never existed. So ideally, you try to follow the first two ways and use that to resolve the dissonance in your life. Because when you have cognitive dissonance, you can do all the coping and the meditation and the self-care in the world, but it's not gonna help. You're still not gonna feel that great. And as soon as we resolve that dissonance, we start to feel at peace with ourselves and start to gain a lot of clarity. You see, the opposite of dissonance is integrity. Integrity is not just about being honest, it's about being true to ourselves and to our beliefs. In a way, resolving dissonance is like restoring the wholeness to ourselves from all the splits that we've caused by harsh judgment and the lies that we've been telling ourselves. It allows us to trust ourselves again. So I would say, find the things that are causing dissonance with you and try to resolve them. You'll feel better both mentally and physically. You'll feel more confident and just truer to yourself. An exercise that I've done is write down things that I've felt dissonance about, really went down that rabbit hole to see what caused it, what I've been telling myself, and actually resolving it. So I would say maybe try that and see how it goes.